What's up, six people? Dave, Duncan Kyle.
Why he's laughing?
Back from Metal Epidemic for
Serious?
another album review.
Of all the reviews we've done tonight, this band is the most serious.
I don't know about that, Duncan.
I do.
about
Right. I listened to this album several times. These guys
I think they're cheeky.
are not playing around, Dave.
They're cheeky. They're cheeky, I can tell. We are back to check out the new album from Danish death metal veterans Thorium. The band's new album, Danmark, will be released on April 29th via Emancipation Productions. So, here we go. These guys have been active since 1997, gents.
Yes. Yes.
Danmark will be the band's fifth full-length album. The album was recorded live at Angioni Studios, left with small imperfections and without a metronome to guide the band members.
Right, listen. No, we're not doing this. Right. You've read that out. I could see it in Kyle's face. He's instantly giving it an extra star. I'm not fucking having it. No. Literally, was this press written by Kyle?
Yes, it was.
Written by and for me.
The music was recorded in 1 week during the summer of 2021, followed by vocals which were penned and recorded in succession, one song per day, getting that spontaneous feel of death metal of yore. The album was finally mixed by
See it.
Jakob Bredal
Of course it fucking was.
at Dead Rat Studio. Jakob, this is on the press release, had the guts to not only leave the imperfections in there, but in some cases even shed a spotlight on them. Yeah. It's all about prioritising that feeling of rawness and spontaneity akin to the band's live sound. I
thought that press was going to say, he was brave enough to do an interview with Metal Epidemic, which is available on YouTube right now. Go and check it out.
Good, I like it. Links below. This looks. So I was looking at their what's that metal encyclopedia thing? It looks like this is almost like a new lineup since the last album. Same vocalist and guitarist, but new drummer, new bassist, and second guitarist.
Yeah, I took a look at their picture.
Yeah,
and it does look like some of the band members are a little bit older than the rest, including the guy standing at the front, who I'm assuming is the vocalist. It's a little bit older.
Vintage. So I hadn't heard of Thorium before, weirdly, but I did have a little listen to their 2018 album, Blasphemy Awakes, and it was really just because there'd been a bit of a lineup change. I just wondered if there'd been like a massive change in sound at all. This is still an old school death metal album, that has not changed, but I'd definitely say there is more emphasis on the groove, which makes Dave happy. I'm a happy guy right now. If you have listened to any of the singles, then I'd say you get a pretty good indication of what to expect on Danmark. This is 10 tracks, 38 minutes long, and again, listen to this album. It feels like your head has been like replaced by one of those speed bag things, the things that the boxers use, one of those. That's kind of how it feels listening to this album. It is just constant. It's like a barrage of old school death metal riffs just punching you in the head. But like as I said, like this album isn't all like kind of like speed and fury.
No. There's plenty like groove range segments in here.
Yeah.
They've got grooves for days if they want to use them.
Yeah, they will easily dip into something grotesquely slow and oozing in that Morbid Angel style dissonance. Just let it wash over you, and that kind of that variation and for me is just like one of the main things I loved about this album. And it was something that I only listened to the last album once, but I felt like that was a little bit missing from the last album. It's really well controlled. They know, just when you've been hit with too many body shots. I'm sticking with these boxing references, and
I
then
noticed the bold move, Dave. Here
they go for the KO right after that.
Don't telegraph it like that,
Yeah.
KO.
Saw that coming.
Dave thinks it's Punch Out.
on the
Were you
Wii.
taught to box by a mantis?
Dave's father-in-law was a Commonwealth boxing champion. So
No way.
yeah,
Wow.
True
don't
story.
fuck with Dave. He's got skills. Hear that? You hear that, Jakob? Dave says that he could beat you up. It's recorded here right now. I will referee it when you come over.
I'm bringing my father-in-law with me. The other really cool thing about this is the way that they kind of like amalgamate their influences from different parts of the world into one. Like this particular style of death metal, like they're pulling from, like, there's some American death metal, there's some Swedish death metal, and there's also a bit of Danish in there as well. You can hear, like, as I said, a bit of Morbid Angel. You've also got little tones of like Dismember or Illdisposed, Paganizer, but I didn't feel like any time I was listening to any of those bands, like, they didn't feel like a replica. I still felt like there was a bit of Thorium definitely in there as well. One of, I think, like, favourites on this album, like the opener, War Is Coming, like, just is a great tone setter. Like, it gives you a really good mix of just punishing riffs, headbanging grooves, and you can, like, as I mentioned, you can totally hear there is no click track being used here. This is au natural. It's very fluid, like, you can hear little speed changes throughout the track, but I kind of love that about it. A lot of newer death metal is very clinical and very rigid. This is not like that at all. It flows really well. Other tracks I enjoyed: A Crown to Obscurity, such a killer main riff, grooves so hard, and there's so much ride cymbal, which just gives me the biggest smile. Semen of the Devil. Semen of the Devil. Let's just.
It's a
bask.
great name. It's a great
come
fucking
on.
name.
What a fucking track title that is.
Yeah, love it.
It does have a little bit of there's something a little bit more modern about that track. You could really hear the Danish coming through in the riff for me.
The
just
groove on that track is fucking insane.
so good. Just drives forward, just kind of like levels everything in its path. Silent Suffering, very Morbid Angel, but any self-respecting death metal fan should love that. And then album closer, Into the Gods, some of the nastiest vocals on the album. Obviously it's mixed by our good man Jakob, which I'm not gonna lie, gives me a bit of the mahogany, because the man's,
for those that don't understand that term, because it is an inside reference, Dave says that gives him a hard-on, an erection, an erect member.
Yeah, Jakob's a legend. Anything he touches sounds amazing, and this album is no exception. I think this sounds even more authentic than their previous releases. I think he's delivered a mix that represents the genre very well, but also makes Thorium sound the best they've ever sounded on CD. This, like, it does what it says in the tin. It's quite nostalgic. It's very kind of riff orientated death metal. There's no like massive surprises, but it's still like fucks like your sister on a Saturday night. So I am all in. I am enjoying this one immensely.
That's for 38 minutes and without abandon.
Yep.
Talk about semen of the devil.
Yeah, and I've seen your sister. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, let's go with Kyle.
I don't know. I'm glad I don't have a sister.
So am I.
You're glad I don't know. Yeah. For some reason, somehow, Thorium had completely escaped my attention as well. Like, to hear that they've been going for 25 years was like, what the fuck? Where have you been hiding in Denmark? Oh, that explains everything. They might be my new favorite. Like, this just speaks. I mean, Duncan was right earlier. It was like, was this written by Kyle for Kyle? Like, yeah, it was.
The press statement does have a Kylie flair to it.
Yeah, they recorded it live.
Yeah.
Jacob did a fucking fantastic job making the band sound like themselves, like it does.
Check.
Who mastered it?
Don't know. Check.
Brad Boatwright.
Is it Brad Boatwright?
No,
it's Brad Boatwright. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It is.
Dave, you need to hand in your card for doing research.
Oh, fuck's sake. I dropped the ball once and what, fucking 150 reviews.
With Brad. By the way, the guys at Metal Epidemic also have done an interview with Brad, which is available on our YouTube channel. Go check it out.
Yeah.
The little links below now.
Did not know that, Kyle. Thank you for throwing us in there.
You're very welcome. I did my research when I heard the first song because it blew me the fuck away. I was like, this is how death metal should sound. Well, I mean, this is how old school death metal should always have sounded. Because it's definitely nostalgic. It's definitely old school death metal. It's very riff orientated and all that stuff. But it doesn't sound dated at all. Like, if you listen to an album from the 90s or 80s, it sounds, okay, you can tell it's from then. But this does not sound like that at all. They've taken the production to modern times, but kept all the stuff that made death metal great back then. And it's like, it's incredible. And like, I kind of expected it to be like a rip-off of like Morbid Angel or something, but it really wasn't. It was surprisingly like varied in the tempos, and still, like you've mentioned, they had tons of groove on some songs, other songs are just balls to the wall, all out, straight in your face, fucking kill you and die, and that's it. And like, they have an instrumental track. Like, I can't remember the name of it, but one of the songs is instrumental, and I was like, got halfway through it, like, is this dude gonna do anything? No, fuck, this is instrumental. That's amazing. Instrumental death metal is one of my favorite things. I love it. So, someone spoke to me on very many levels.
Nice.
And there's a few like unexpected, just tiny little details in there as well. Like, there was a cymbal break, which you just don't hear in death metal at all. Like, you hear it in deathcore and stuff like that, but death metal, especially old school death metal, they just like whacked on some cymbals for a bar or half a bar or something, and it was like, that worked really well. Do it again. They didn't. And like, I love that they recorded it live because they're surprisingly tight for a pretty new band. I mean, they must have been, I say new band, I mean like the newest members are like the drummer and the bassist and the second guitarist. They only had a couple of years to play together, so they're surprisingly tight and brave to play live and record everything live. And they say they leave all the imperfections in, and I can't hear that many imperfections. Like, there's one or two moments where maybe the chugging got a little bit out of sync, but that's it. Like, they're surprisingly good for what they were doing for such a short time together. So, I mean, bands can be together for years and not record live because they're just not that tight together, you know? They need the perfection of the studio, but they're really impressed. Really, really impressed. The whole vibe of the album was great, and that closing song is the most epic thing I've heard for quite a while in this genre. So I was pleasantly surprised. I expected one thing and got something totally different. And Seaman of the Devil, absolutely, what a song title.
Duncan.
Yes, Dave.
What did you think of Denmark?
This is really good. Without retreading essentially what you guys have already said, which I mean is inevitable when you go to review last. There's no one's mentioned Slayer yet. There's a bit of Slayer in
these
here.
guys are better than Slayer.
And I'm not going to lie, it's in a couple of bits, and it works really well, but then the aforementioned bands like Morbid Angel and that were influenced by, wait for it, Slayer. So that makes sense. It carries through. There's a really good mix on the album. I'm not talking about the work that Jacob done because that's incredible in itself, but I mean a mix of tempo, of groove, and the way the album is actually constructed together plays with that really, really well. So it's a very, very, very easy listen for something that is clearly nasty sounding. And, you know, it's just structured very cleverly. I like that. There's nothing on here that you have not heard before.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to get complacent with that and say, well, it's an old school death metal album, and then everyone's like, all right, I know what that sounds like. And you can kind of pigeonhole bands away to do that, but the danger is, and you've touched on it, is being kind of true and authentic to the time period and your influences, and retaining that character in your songs, whilst at the same time delivering something that feels like it should be released in 2022. And Thorium have kind of nailed that. Like, they've really got that balance down. Last year there was a couple of bands that kind of toyed with that as well. We spent a lot of time talking about death metal last year, but there was a lot of bands that clearly just wore that kind of 90s influence on their sleeve, but made it sound updated without replacing things out to make it updated. You know, like they're clearly masters of the death metal riff. It's all the way through here. The grooves definitely aid it. A Crown to Obscurity, one of the highlights for me for sure. Rain the Abyss, fucking banger. Into the Gods, we've mentioned it. Will turn your semen into Satan. But then, like just other tracks as well, like stuff like The Silent Suffering, I thought worked really, really well. It's the one that I think it reminded me a little bit, I might be getting wrong with this one, but I think it's reminded me a little bit of Seasons of the Abyss at the start, with the kind of slow build in. That's a fucking killer riff, man. And I just kept hearing it was building up nicely, and I was like, just give me it, and they gave me what I wanted. Yes, they are hugely benefited by the production choices of our good buddy Jacob. That's kind of smart. Like, old school stuff doesn't sound great when it's quantized to fuck and all fiddled with and all the rest. This one kind of needs to sound like raw, and like a kind of raw live state. Also, kind of once again makes me excited of, I would totally go and see Thorium play live, because this is them playing live and it sounds fucking badass. Vocally, the dude's vocals are fucking amazing. Like once again, some people are just born with a voice that is only meant to be on one style of music, and this guy has it. He's locked in, and it's great. And he's the original singer, and that's 97, which means we're 25 years into his career as a death metal vocalist. Sounds fucking great. Compare him to some other singers that are out there, Chris Barnes, who've been out there doing it, and like just their voices destroyed because they never took care of it. This guy clearly does. I mean, if you're a death metal fan on any end of the spectrum, and let me specify, even if it's just like new school, old school, mid school, preschool, after school, Sunday school, like if you're a fan of death metal in general, Thorium is just full of the stuff that you're either moaning that you don't hear enough of, the stuff that you kind of wish more bands did, or have that vibe, aesthetic, and overall sound of what you want to go and see from a live death metal band. That's kind of a win-win. My only complaint, I mentioned it before, is it isn't necessarily pushing the genre forward in any way possible, but it isn't necessarily doing anything bad either. You know, it delivers what it delivers very, very fucking well. So it's a good album. Danmark.
Okay, so ratings for Danmark from Thorium. I mean, as I said, it does what it says on the tin. Not really anything you haven't heard done before, but done to a really high standard. And it's produced perfectly for this style of music. I can imagine myself definitely chucking this on when I'm just in the mood for something just heavy and just, it's filled with nostalgia. So I'd probably go 4 out of 5 in this one. Enjoyable album. Kyle?
This is going to be what I put on when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to the door.
It's a bold thing to do in Norway as well.
I'll be like, oh, it's him. Okay, blacklisted. 4 out of 5 from me too. Fucking fantastic album.
Nice. Duncan?
Reunited, it feels so good. 4, there's absolutely nothing on here that's not going to make you bang your head until it falls off.
True that. So, Thorium Danmark out on April 29th on Emancipation Productions. Links below to the band's Facebook, to the band's Bandcamp. Check them out, give them a listen, let us know what you think, and hope you enjoy the album when you check it out. That is the review. Thanks for checking it out. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.